Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, the only Idaho podcast focused on providing profits for Idaho people. If you love our state and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Idaho Business Podcast with your friend, host, and all-around great guy and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Idaho Business Podcast. We're lucky to be joined by Doug Dvorak. This guy, it's hard to get people of such a high pedigree to be on this show, but we're able to get this guy, and it's a real treat for us today. So Doug is one of the most well-traveled keynote motivational speakers available today. Doug has earned his spot in the Motivational Speaking Hall of Fame. He's also been inducted into the International Who's Who of Professional Speaking. So this guy definitely knows his stuff. He can speak a lot better than I can. So we're going to let him speak as much as possible on this show today. So Doug, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Spencer, and big hello from McCall, Idaho to the Idaho Business Podcast audience. And yes, can you tell I like to speak?
I love it. Well, perfect. Well, let's go to our quick sponsorship thing, and then we'll go to a little bit more about you, and then we'll get into it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We're sponsored by Health West. These guys are a great medical organization throughout all of Idaho right now. They keep growing. So give them a Google, find where they're closest to you, and see what they can do for you, your family, and your loved ones. So there you go. Doug, man, you've trained and impacted over millions of people, over all the different states we have, over 107 different countries. You've written many books, even written a foreword on a book, As a Man Thinketh, that I'm like, oh man, I remember that book, and it's been years since I've read it. But then I look through my Audible library, I'm like, oh, there it is, it's there. So I'm like, okay. But yeah, you're this sales guru that I'm glad to have on our show today.
Thank you. It's a high honor and privilege. Thank you, Spencer.
So, how did you get started in this world?
So, I think being an only child, and my father, James Dvorak, was a professional retail auto sales person and sold a variety of different things throughout his selling career. So I was always with my dad, summers, holidays, and helped him on a car lot or some way, shape, form, or fashion, or an auto show. And I think from an early age, my dad really enjoyed selling. He had a passion for the art and science of selling, a passion to add value to his auto customers. And it just seemed fun. And I liked the flexibility. And he once told me, Doug, I don't work for Chevrolet or Toyota first. I work for myself first. So, that ability to really have my own business, albeit working for someone else. And then I just enjoyed selling and personal growth. And then I think the seminal moment where I thought at about 10 years old, there could be something to this selling. I was involved in the Chicago Cub Scouts, and they had the big Scoutorama. And I went out and I sold more Scoutorama tickets than anybody else in all of Chicagoland. And I said, hey, I like it. It's fun, and I'm pretty good at it. Maybe I should consider that as a career. And from that point on, I would continue to spend time with my dad and always loved selling, the freedom, the hard work, acquisition of new skills, commitment to excellence, and then actually went to college at St. Augustine at Flagler College. And I could, pursue a degree or a major, or I could develop my own major, which I did in concert with my counselor, sales administration, which had the core of the business courses, but it also had acting and public speaking and getting deep in those. And that was really well served. And then I graduated, found a job, and started as a sales rep for a company in Chicago, Illinois called McLeod. We sold sanitation services, herbicides, pesticides, started as the only sales rep. They had really not had good luck with building at least one rep and then more, and then an actual structured sales organization. So I remember my first 3 months, they gave me a company car, an old beat up Chevy Citation. And I was given my sales quota, and I went to the president, Phil McLeod, and I said, Phil, if I double my sales quota first year, will you lease me a 1985 BMW 325? He said, sure. Never thought I would hit it. I killed it because I had that focus and passion for the profession of selling. I believed in McLeod services. And then fast forward 14 months later, I was driving on his dime a 1985 four-door BMW 325i. So I've just been very blessed and fortunate. You know, they say, find what you love to do and do it the rest of your life. And I've always enjoyed selling. And then, you know, got out of that business into technology, took a lot of risk, knew nothing about technology in the early 90s, went to junior college on the weekends, intro to data processing, 101, 102, and then just got a job and took a 50% pay cut, no pension, no company auto, working for a computer reseller that my friend was the president of, and worked hard, learned the industry. And then that really propelled me for a 15-year career in information technology. And then got out of corporate world and started my own sales training, speaking, coaching, the Sales Coaching Institute.
That's crazy. Yeah, you have a big history of just some remarkable stuff there. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, your family, you're in the entrepreneur spirit from the get-go. Your father's selling cars and all that kind of stuff. I grew up, my father was selling fuel, not as exciting or sexy as selling cars. And then my grandparents, they're real estate people and all that kind of stuff. So I've got sales on my side, but that's so interesting how you kind of took on that challenge and then ran with it. So that's great. And now with the Sales Coaching Institute, how are you helping people with that?
Sure. Let me start the story. I was a sales executive with IBM Global Services, and I remember when I talked to my brother-in-law Dave, and I said, "Yeah, I'm going to leave IBM." So you're going to leave IBM to do what? To speak and train. You've got a salary, commission, pension, benefits. You're going to do what? And that was around when I started this journey, working full-time for IBM and then full-time nights and weekends to build my speaking business. It was scary. But, I think today what's more scary is being at the behest of a corporation. I just read today, 1,600 laid off here, 20,000 here, 10,000 there. And by becoming a speaker, trainer, coach, it enabled me to jump into entrepreneurship. And it really didn't take on its meaning until I was out of the corporate world. I cut that cord and I had to make it succeed. So it took on new urgency. And then I started small. I remember, speaking 50 times for free to Kiwanis, Toastmasters, Chambers of Commerce. And unfortunately, I had a wonderful mentor, Roger Dawson, who was a world-renowned speaker, coach, and author on negotiation. And he built the roadmap. He said, here's the roadmap. If you do it, you will succeed. So go out, speak 50 times for free, and before you know it, somebody will ask you. And about the 35th speech, it was a suburb of Chicago, a Chamber of Commerce, where I did a free 30-minute lunch and learn. They said, hey, come to my organization. What's your fee? $1,000. I didn't know. And that really was the launch pad of joining national speakers, being really homed into my craft and trying to become a better presenter, more impactful, great content, and recognize it's not about me. It's not about my speaking fee. It's about the quality of my content and the value that I can deliver in that 60, 90, or 3-hour session.
That's right. It's all about adding value to people's lives. That's for sure. So that's fantastic. Now, as we're talking about sales and all this kind of stuff together, so many people, especially business owners, we get in our ruts of like, this has worked for ages. I've owned this business 20 years plus, we're experiencing little growth, every year, and that's enough. What's the biggest things that you see that business owners are doing wrong when it comes to sales?
Flintstones and Jetsons.
Okay.
What I mean by that, regardless of your business, you're in that business, but you're also in the business of information technology. And what I mean by that, pre-COVID, before we all had to morph and understand Zoom, Teams, digitizing our business. Fortunately, I came out of technology and my businesses were digitized. But for those that didn't get an understanding of what sales enablement, great website, marketing automation tools, email, blogs, social media, you have to adapt and evolve, because that's really the last bastion of productivity in a business. Is that there's other aspects, but do you have a great website with a digital marketing and sales strategy? And if you don't, you're going to be left behind like Fred Flintstone, or you can sail into the sales future like George Jetson. And for me, I'm constantly on the lookout for really great technology that adds value to my business, my processes, the sales and marketing component, but also for my clients. And if I can claw back 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here through a more effective automated IT process, that gives me more time to focus on the business instead of in the business. Mm-hmm. And more often than not, and I want to replay that, as business owners, are we working in the business or are we working on the business? In the business, you have to, but on the business strategically. So, December 1, I'm doing strategic planning, or late October with my team. And then we have an all hands meeting on strategy mid-December. And then I work feverishly, that next 3 weeks on overarching strategic imperatives to my business from a technology, program, content development. So I would say, are you Fred Flintstone or are you George Jetson? And recognize the business you're in is important. But a close second is leveraging those technologies, whatever they are, to make a better customer experience and streamline processes so that you can work on the business and less in the business.
I love it. It's surprising to me, I'm in the middle right now of an acquisition for of another company in Idaho to continue to grow my influence here in Idaho. But it is surprising to me as I look for other companies, especially in the service industry side of things, how many companies don't even have their Google pages up and running, like just the basic information that you can be searched on Google.
NAP, name, address, phone number. It's remarkable. Yeah. Or if it's there, it's so kludgy to get to. And that's just digital selling, marketing, customer service 101. Because we as North Americans make up to 35,000 decisions each and every day. We are given between 4,000 and 6,000 messages. And as a sales professional, marketing, customer service, you're competing with those 4,000 to 6,000 messages or the 35,000 decisions that we make to pierce the veil to try to reach someone. And if it's difficult, we are now living and working at such a velocity due to technology, tethered to technology, that we've been conditioned. You do a Google search, a website comes up, one or two, you click on it. If it loads slow in 15 seconds or less, you're out. You go to the next. So you are absolutely right. You got to get the basic Google name, address, phone number, your website, all those things. Otherwise, you're going to lose interest and they're going to go to a competitor.
Yeah. It's also funny too when it comes to your website, they talk a lot about having your call to action above the fold, before you have to start scrolling. There's so many times I'm on a website, especially, local businesses, that I'm having to scroll to find key information, like you want it front and center right when you load that puppy, so it's interesting.
You want it front and center, and technology and information technology is critical for businesses, but don't forget what made you successful. This is the first time in the history of work in this country where we have 4 cohorts or generations working together. Those millennials, Gen Z, Gen X, they consume data differently, and they just want the digital experience. They don't care if they ever talk to a human. I can't understand how CEOs of large companies, small companies, mid-sized companies don't have an 800 number, or if they do, it's baked into page 26.
Yeah.
People still like to have a number to call. Some different age cohorts like, chat bots, etc. But to your point, have a great design with information prominent, an email and a phone number, not baked in 20 pages deep.
It's so true. It's so true. Yeah. That's so key, because on certain websites you can see it's developed more aimed towards the newer generations, and they completely forget about the older generations. Because I'm of the generation, I like technology, but sometimes I like to get on a phone and talk to someone in person when something's going wrong, especially when it comes to customer service. It's better than, when you're down a tunnel, it's better than just having to chat the whole time with the person. It drives you nuts. So
and these CEOs make decisions on cutting costs that benefit them and not the customer.
Yeah.
And companies have continually pushed on the consumer, the customer, areas that they used to do to strip costs and put the onus on us. I was in a Outback, and they gave me the tablet menu, and then that's fine, and then pay. It was 10 minutes to try to figure out this clue. I said, I don't want to do this. Please, I'm going to give you a nice tip. Take care of it.
Yeah. It is crazy. It gets a little annoying at times that they're just trying to push everyone that way. And it's all going to go that way, but man, it's all about that customer experience. And like you said in the past, providing value along the way, because you can ostracize a lot of customers by just doing it one way. So, well, I love it. Let's kind of move on a little bit here, because let's get into the lightning round as we kind of come to a close, and we'll get to the end where we'll kind of roll out the red carpet for you for a minute. The lightning round is sponsored by one of my companies called New Clean Commercial Cleaning. So if anyone throughout Idaho, especially right now, we're not up to McCall right now, but we're Twin Falls all the way down to the Rexburg area, needs any kind of commercial cleaning, the fancy stuff, the toilet scrubbing, the strip and waxing, the carpets, give us a call, 208-254-7070. You mentioned that you heard us on the podcast, and you get one sterilization for your entire office absolutely for free. All right, Doug, what is, maybe you've written a lot of books, but is there a best book / software or tool that you've really stumbled upon lately that's just kind of been a game changer for you?
Yeah, my new book, The Sales Coaching Playbook, How to Transform Your Sales Team into Sales Champions. And what I'll do is I'll, give them my link or provide that to you, where they go to my website and download that free ebook just on sales coaching, but more importantly, creating a culture of excellence and coaching, not just for salespeople. I'll offer that to your listeners.
I love it. Yeah, I'll grab that link for sure and put it in the episode notes for sure. All right, what's the biggest myth business owners need to know the truth about?
That it's hard, and don't quit your day job if you're working full-time and have a good business plan. But the risk reward is huge. Once you're a successful entrepreneur or business owner, once you're a successful employer, most never want to go back to being an employee. But a lot of employees don't want to be entrepreneurs or business owners. But if you have the time and you can use some great resources that are free in your community, every community has a community college, and they have an office of career development or business development or community outreach. And you can reach out for free for the SBA, Small Business Administration, in your geography that has free courses on how to write a business plan. You also have, SCORE, the Society of Retired Executives. These are great executives with competencies in accounting, marketing, sales that are wanting to give back. So I'd say, use those free resources in your community, SBA, Small Business Administration, your local community college, and SCORE, the Society of Retired Executives, to help build out that business plan. Step one, make sure you have some savings and transition into it. As you know, At a minimum, it takes 3 years of diligent, hard, focused work, 16, 20 hours a day to grow and scale that business. It's never going to be on autopilot, but it's a great opportunity if you're passionate about your business and being an entrepreneur and an employer. You're creating opportunities, taxes for your local community. It's awesome. It's not riddled with fears, anxieties, but you can do it. And if you use some of those resources with a good business plan and budgeting, you're going to be just fine.
I love it. That's fantastic. I love the score. It's an interesting one. Never heard of that one. Was that the one?
Yeah, Society of Retired Executives.
Yeah, that's great.
There's chapters in primary, secondary, and even tertiary markets. You call them and say, "Hi, I'm Spencer with the cleaning service. I need help on accounting, marketing, digital, technology, IT, sales," and they help you.
That's
and then a great resource, and I've spoken many times at Boise State at their SBA Small Business Administration incubator. They offer wonderful free half-day, full-day, and online tools to understand business plan writing, marketing, sales. So great resources.
Right. Well, we need to get you down to Idaho State University too. So
I spoke there a couple of years ago at a leadership conference. I love Pocatello.
Oh, that's great. That's good stuff. All right. Last question. What is one question I should have asked, but I didn't? What would be your answer?
Why do you do this?
Yeah, there you go.
And I do that because I really got burned out on corporate America and working for someone else. And I was really, most importantly, passionate about selling, consulting, teaching, speaking. As they say, experience is a great teacher, but the tuition's too high. Sharing those ideas, concepts, and strategies for sales professionals, sales organizations, entrepreneurs, and businesses. My why, it's not about me, it's about we and them. And if I can offer and provide a succinct strategy roadmap on growing, scaling an organization, it gives me great satisfaction. And that's really my why. It's more service to others than service to self.
That's great.
And I tell salespeople, sales organizations at all levels, what's your intention? Is your intention on value-based selling, mutual exchange of value, earning the right for an appointment, live, phone, email, Zoom, where we don't make cold calls, we make warm calls. The difference, research and preparation. Have you done your due diligence to earn the right to show up, understand their pain, really mutual exchange of value, so it's not a one-time transaction? Sure, we have to be mindful of one-time transactions, but that's really not what we're interested in when we grow and scale a business. We're looking about a long-term business partnership. We're really not salespeople. We're subject matter experts. We solve business problems and solution providers.
That's great. Yeah, I couldn't send it better. Well, thank you, Doug. Now, people that are listening, they're like, man, Doug definitely knows his stuff. Love to learn more about him, or maybe, ask him some more questions. Is the link that you're going to provide for us for the book, is that the best way for them to get a hold of you after they enter your system, or what's the best way to?
Best way is, and I'll email to you, Spencer, my email address, which is really simple, doug@dougdvorak.com, doug@dougdvorak.com. I also have salescoach.us, and my direct line, 847-359-6969. And I'll give you a link to that sales coaching playbook that you can push out to your listeners.
Perfect. I appreciate that. And I'm sure the listeners will love it too. So thanks, Doug, for coming on the show with us today. We appreciate your wisdom and your advice.
Can I add one last thing?
Please.
Don't forget to have fun. Because if you don't have fun, this could happen to you. There once was a man who never romped nor played. He never smoked, he never drank, nor even kissed a maid. And when he upped and passed away, life insurance was denied. For since he never lived, they claimed he never died. Have fun.
Wow. Amazing, Doug. Appreciate it. Everyone else out there, please be happy, be grateful, and go find opportunities to serve others. Thanks again, Doug.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Congratulations on spending a couple of minutes getting a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Idaho business community. If you're feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.